going to be working on my 2021 today. Attempting to take care of the U-bolt recall that these trucks have. Well, it's not the U-bolt, it's the leaf spring perch. It needs 2 more welds on it and then rebolted. I got new U-bolts and got the torque spec, and the next step is jack this up, take the wheels off, and disassemble everything. Okay, so once you chock your front wheels, front and rear, don't just chock one side. You'll want to jack up the vehicle. I call it the BFJ, my big freaking jack. But once you get it jacked up, make sure to put jack stands under the frame somewhere. This I don't, because it's just like a 2-post lift. It has all these locks and it cannot fall with it being set on the locks.
I don't ever slow up, no I don't take shit. I got no love for the fakeness. If you wanna play tough and wanna hate this, I'll always show up. I don't ever slow.
Okay, so the brake caliper bolts were a 16 milli. I have my drill with a wire wheel on it. What you're gonna want to do is put on some good old safety glasses and clean up from corner to corner axle and leaf spring perch mount. Get it all good and clean, and since I have a wire fed, I'm gonna have to find a spot, clean it up, and tack a bolt to it so I can have a ground close by. I had to look at the other side on the U-bolt hanger. There's this little perch right here that pops out. It faces outside. I don't know if it matters which way it faces, but you always want to put it back in the same way it came out, and so this little block faces your brakes. So just for reference.
No, I don't take shit. I got no love for the fakeness. If you wanna play tough and wanna hate this, I'll always show up and make a statement. I don't ever slow up. No, I don't take shit. I got no love for the fakeness. If you wanna play tough and wanna hate this, I'll always show up and make a statement. Everything I do so instinctive and so passionate. Every word I move so descriptive like it.
So what I did, I know it's kind of hard to see, I went from corner to corner, and the reason I use that thin wire wheel sideways is so you can really get up underneath your leaf spring perch. And then over here I ground it down so I can tack a bolt there, and that's my ground. You just do the same on the other side, just corner to corner, and get up on the block, and made a ground there for my bolt so it's nice and close to the weld. And now this hole, I know it's kind of hard to see over here, but there's one on each side. On the back side of the axle, that's for a tab for your brake line bracket. Just make sure you don't weld too high up and cover that. Kind of need that. But let me set up my welder and I'll get right back with you. Okay, so after you tack your bolt and have your ground set up, I'm running 18.5 volts at 260. These axle housings aren't too thick, so you don't want to burn too hot and burn through it. But go ahead and lay a pass across, and what I might do, I might stitch them together just to ensure that everything comes together and will hold strong, because I do tow fairly heavy with this single rear axle f-350, but better safe than sorry.
Adjective, I got a vendetta against people who patented being negative when you should be getting after it. I got facts over tracks, this and that, spitting slow, spitting fast.
For the first weld of the day, not bad. Can't complain. So let's go ahead, swap to the back side. I'm gonna just leave the bolt there at the ground. It's close enough. Alright, let's go ahead and get this side.
like a roast, I could gas, think I'm okay at last, but I don't know if that can erase all the past and the pettiness, a reflection of the emptiness. Hilarious, you think you're worth my time, you're delirious.
Oh yeah, that's a lot better of a pass. Definitely can't complain with that one. I'm gonna clean up both of these, get all the little bit of gas off, and then I'm gonna stitch across just to ensure everything's gonna hold tight.
Serious because you are behind a fake exterior, inferior. You know I'll always be a bit superior. Get off of me, this ain't no humble.
If you're wondering why I'm doing this and not Ford, well, none of my local Ford dealers up here have a licensed welder, so they can't perform it, and the only closest one where they can is about 2.5 hours away. But first they said they had to inspect it, and then after that they would order in the parts, aka new U-bolts. Now if these welds were cracked, I would need a new axle housing, but it's not, and then I'd have to bring the truck back down to them once I got the parts in stock and they could perform it. But I'm a licensed welder myself, and I got the parts through Ford, and so that's why I'm here. Let's go ahead and get this stitch welded up, hop to the other side, and then I'll show you the sequence and the foot-pounds for reinstalling new U-bolts. And I always use new U-bolts. I try to use new nuts. Ford doesn't have any nuts in stock, and they don't even know what specific nuts they use, so I have to reuse them. But the reason for doing all new hardware is because after being torqued, the threads stretch, and so I don't want to take a chance at stripping them or them backing out because I've already been torqued down once.
Brag, I want you to hear words, you can say them back. I want you to feel free from the chains that last, and to believe in what you got, it was built to last, yeah. Now that I've been put through hell, I never got anyone.
Now let's go ahead and lay the stitch weld on this guy.
I had to do it all myself. I don't ever slow up, no I don't take shit. I got no love for the fake.
Okay, once you're done welding both sides, just take some good old rattle can and give it a quick spray. At least for the time being, all the metal you just exposed won't rust. And I mean, if you really wanted to take it a step further, you could, I don't know, every 6 months crawl under here and respray it, but kind of pointless if you ask me. Next step will be to just reassemble everything.
If you wanna play tough and wanna hate this, I'll always show up and make a statement. I don't ever slow up, no I don't take shit. I got no love for the fakeness. If you wanna play tough and wanna hate this, I'll always show up.
What you have to try to do is line up this pin with the hole in your leaf spring block, or axle block, whatever you want to call it. Normally when you do one side at a time, they will get fairly close to lining up. Sometimes you gotta wiggle it or wiggle the axle. Sometimes they can be a pain in the butt. Sometimes it's a little challenging doing one side at a time, but sometimes it's just the safer way to go. And it's hard to tell where it needs to go. Okay, looks like the axle actually needs to be pulled back. Oh, see? Just a little nudge and it fell right on in. So now, just make sure where your U-bolts mount up on the axle, new U-bolts. Just make sure everything's clean. You don't want too much dirt and debris because it will mess with the torque of your bolts, and it will either not torque evenly or it'll torque, but since there is crud there, as you drive it, it'll loosen up because all that material is going to move. So just make sure it's clean and everything will be fine. Just to go over one more time, leaf spring block, there's a little hump that protrudes on the other side because I didn't see how it came off because it fell on the ground and hopped. But on the other side, it has it facing your caliper and all that. So I'm just mimicking the passenger side, and although it doesn't look like it would affect anything, it's best to not guess. Just put it back the way it came off. I am having to reuse the nuts off the old U-bolts because Ford didn't have any in stock, but so I'm just gonna snug it up. And one thing you want to keep in mind, you want to keep all four even length on your threads, because if it's not and you torque it, it can cause one side to be tighter than the other, even if your torque wrench does click and all that. So just something to be aware of. I have ran into it before. So the torque sequence is 48 foot-pounds to start, so I'll set my torque wrench up to that. And you want to go in an X fashion, so just start here, cross over, hop back to this one, go. And then just to reinsure for myself how I do it, I then go around in a circle to ensure it is actually proper. But let me really quickly just put back on this brake line bracket.
And make a statement. Gonna learn the consequence of being incompetent. Mental health is confidence, dreams and some honestness. I'm not here to save the day, that's for you to take away. I could play a million mind games, but instead I say something not illogical, something that is topical. Rub it on and watch it go.
Okay, so the first step is 48 foot-pounds.
Make yourself unstoppable. Dreams are irresponsible, but they're always possible. If you just believe, you could be so remarkable. Thoughts in my head, a collage and they spread. I'll be great one day, going off of my...
Next rating is 96 foot-pounds. I am running the Cornwell 1/2-inch digital. It has the side markers that light up, and it yells at you as you heard. But that's what I'm using.
No, I'm not giving up, no, I'm not giving in. I will make it to the top, taking off in the wind. I gotta make it, I'm saving every day to taste it. I'm patient, but my mind, it can hardly take it. I'm chasing a dream that I've had for several ages, a vacant modern kingdom for the taking.
Next one is 148 foot-pounds.
Now that I've been put through hell, I never got anyone's help. I had to do it all myself. I don't ever slow up, no, I don't take shit. I got...
And the final stage is 195 foot-pounds. And then repeat the process again.
No love for the fakeness. If you wanna play tough and wanna hate this, I'll always show up and make a statement. I don't ever slow up, no, I don't take shit. I got no love for the fakeness. If you wanna...
Now, once you do all that, just do it again on the other side, and that's how you take care of the recoil on these 2020 and up trucks for the leaf spring. I will just show you everything over there, but it'll be space. I'll grind it, weld it, so on and so forth. So, but there you go. Just repeat over there and you're good.